Okay, thank you, Tommaso. Hi to each and every one of you. Sorry for reaching you out so late, but I had some issues with the connection. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
I think you are quite familiar with the new digital manufacturing and with the maker movement that is a sort of bottom-up innovators movement that is becoming mainstream. So mainstream that the European Commission asked us to organize an European week running from May 30 to June 5, in which they hope also the schools will be involved throughout their digital mentor that will be asking for schools to join in the Fab Labs, Makerspace or Hackerspace session of basic educational about what this new kind of revolution in education and in making is it really. But coming back to Maker Faire is a very huge event. Is a technological exhibition where makers and innovators, researchers and students shows their invention. It is the place where the culture of innovation meets the relative stakeholder, and it's an event designed to turn the spotlights of hundreds of projects from around Europe by spreading the digital culture and developing the individual and collective entrepreneurship. The audience, which last year reached more than 500,000 people, can experience and try their hand with this new invention because innovation is made available to everyone. Basically is an interactive exhibition. Maker Faire Europe, the Maker Faire Rome, the European edition will run from 40 to 60 October 2016 in Rome at the exhibition district of Fiera di Roma, because we had so many visitors that there is no more space to host us. The organizer, who we are, the Maker Faire Rome, the European edition is promoted by a public body, the Rome Chamber of Commerce, and organized by its internal unit, Asset Camera. Asset Camera is entirely dedicated to enhancement both of social and economic and digital innovation, acting in synergy with other institutions like ministry, like the European Commission, and so on. Maker Faire aims also to be part of a structured dialogue among the European innovators and international decision makers. How schools can participate? Maker Faire Rome launched different schools together in the event the best European project and expertise on innovation. The call for schools is open to educational institutions belonging to the countries of the European Union, level 3, and we are talking about kids from 14 to 18 years old of age. A jury will pick up 55 of the most innovative projects. I'm sorry, I'm a bit rusted with my English, which will be hosted during Maker Faire Rome 2016. inside a dedicated area to schools. Regarding the project coming from school, there is a plus travel and lodging expenses for one chaperone and 2 students for each project accepted by the call for school will be covered by the organization. These expenses will be paid directly by the organization, and we require, obviously, a teacher to be at the stand during the setting up and throughout the event. Call for makers is very easy to apply. You will find it on the website of Maker Fair. Participation is free of charge, and what we are expecting for is creativity, passion, ingenuity, and inventive that have to be created on school desks. Maker Fair Room means a great deal of visibility, plenty of contacts for all the students involved, and loads of fun for them. All participating projects will be prominently displayed on the event website, and our press and media team will introduce them to national and international newspapers, radio, and television. Some sample of high school students that developed some projects. I can mention some of them. The brain arm, a robotic arm made using a 3D printer that moves with the power of touch. My Way, that is an innovative cane for the visually impaired. Remember Me, it's a child safety seat connected to the car and mobile phone that helps prevent any forgetfulness by the parents. Baby Goldrake, that is a robot that comforts sick children in hospitals. A robot guitar that plays by itself using a large number of servo motors. Maybe Fabio Dagnano, my colleague, will explain that in further details. And so these are some of the projects that we picked up from the last call for schools that gathered more than 200 projects. All the useful information that you may need are on the website of the event, and you have to look for the call for schools button. The deadline for submitting proposal is 20th of May, and you will find all the information and also an help desk email, and also a phone number that basically are there for give you all the information you would like to know better and in deeper detail. The topics for the call for schools are 3D printing, 3D scanning, projects based on Arduino, art, projects based on art, artisan and new craft, biology, cultural heritage, drones, education, energy and sustainability, fabrication, fashion and wearables, food and agriculture, games, hacking, home automation, Internet of Things, kids and education, music and sound, open source project, recycling and upcycling, robotics, science, steampunk, wellness, and healthcare. And that is basically all about the call for schools. Obviously, all the schools interested in applying, they need to have a project that has to be displayed on the booth that will give you to you. And I would just say another thing, and then I will be pass the conference to Fabio. The educational day. The educational day is the first day of the fair, and it is open for free on the morning of Friday 14 October. Italian and European schools at all levels will be able to visit the trade show free of charge just by reserving online on the website. So, to sum up, Maker Faire Rome is an open window onto what the future holds in store, presenting innovative solutions to everyday problems, great and small, and devoting special attention to sustainable lifestyle that are responsible and respectful of the world around us.
Thank you very much, Ursula. I think that was already a very good introduction to the different options.
And that would be all from me. You are now just looking at the presentation. Maker Faire Rome is where I'm pointing my arrow, makerfairerome.eu, and by surfing the website, you will find a round bottom with call for schools on it. Follow all the instructions, you will find them, and you will have all the information you need. Fun is assured for kids, for students, and also a lot of international relations. And it's a very intense 3 days of exhibition for all the participants, and usually you can find everywhere on the internet how challenging and fun and absolutely stunning was the experience for the students and for the teachers who participated in the past edition.
Perfect. Many thanks, Ursula. I think that was a very comprehensive introduction to the different options that are there for schools.
I'm just so that you. I'm just really that you saw my eyes and the top of your head. Sorry for that.
Okay, that was a very comprehensive introduction, so we know what's in there for schools. There are some questions on the chat, so I will ask them the questions. Please keep posting the questions on the chat, so I will ask the speakers about that. One of the questions is, for instance, about schools which are not European Union members. So we'll see what the reply of the organizer is. But as far as I know, I remember that for last sessions they were quite open to open up the competition to additional countries. So I'll make sure this is also the approach for this year. I think Ursula is not hearing us, so she's keeping talking with me. Maybe actually this question, could you answer that, Fabio, about the member countries? Do you know if there's
No, I can't. No, I can't.
No problem.
I can't.
Okay. Maybe, okay, then I will leave the floor to Fabio actually to have a look at what actually the maker movement is and how it's related to education, and see what's the value for schools and students then to get into these activities, and possibly and hopefully and the call for schools too. Thanks a lot, Fabio. I leave the floor to you.
Thank you, Tommaso. Hello, everybody. I'm just keeping my camera on for a few seconds just to say hello, and then I switch it off to prevent any slow connection issue. So I'm going to the presentation maybe a little bit faster than expected because we are running a little bit late. So I guess you are, let me check. All right, okay. You should be able to see this image. This image is coming from a collection of images that was from Vilmar, and it was a collection of visionary images coming from the early 19th century. In this image, Vilmar is showing the school of the future. As you can see, the knowledge is transferred in a really in a vertical way from the teacher to the students. Although this is not happening, fortunately, we still have a predominant idea that teaching is a kind of matter of transferring information from the teacher to the student. But nowadays, the students are running fast, really fast, faster even than the technologies that are capturing their attention. And in the meantime, our educational strategies need some updates to respect our students. And as you know, this is a real challenge that involves not only the students, but also families and teachers. And our formation needs new perspective in order to face the increasing complexity of our society and also the central role of technologies. So the first reference that I would suggest to look at is the part that was made mostly in the United States in the field of computer science, because, you know, this matter is quite hard to learn, and then it's quite hard to teach at the same time. And well, let's see some of the main complaints. Computer science is not social, and computer science is boring, and we can say, yes, it's true. It's not creative, it's competitive, we have no teams at all. And, well, you can see here that they are quite happy because, you know, I guess I'm looking at the chat here, and someone is telling me that you can hear me, but I hope that you can hear. Otherwise, please give me a sign if you're not hearing me. So these two girls are quite happy, and they did a project that they really loved, and this is the mainframe that coming from the project-based learning, because, you know, students often struggle finding strong connections between schools and lives. They wonder if the skill that they are learning in school, they will serve in real lives. And in this case, we want to make the students perceive their work as personally meaningful. This means that what was once a poster project, what we call normally in Italy ricerca, where the students had to memorize information, in project-based learning approach become really interactive in investigation, in creation of a final project. So she was a student, she went to a part, and she was so happy and proud to make her own project. So through the research process, students can communicate and collaborate at many levels, including face-to-face, using technology and collaborating between themselves, and they can investigate many different disciplines to find answers to ask teachers and experts, to browse books, to go through the internet website, go and make on-site visits. And these learners, they do not answer to some questions. They really investigate and ask new questions. So the teacher doesn't need to really reproduce a kind of vertical way to give assignments or textbook in a pretty format. They just need to collaborate with the students and make real things that will serve them in their workplace and really in their lives. Another approach is, the approach that you maybe know is the one that is called design thinking, where they go even farther. It's a similar framework of the other one, but it focuses even more on the students, as you have the prototype part there, that is something that is really a cycle. And you ask the people to empathize, to really find what they are, it is really interesting for them. So in the project-based learning, you can say that maybe you will produce a film, or you will use multimedia and text. And in design thinking, the approach is more make your own choice about what your prototype will be. And design thinking gives the students an opportunity to discover their natural creativity and to transform the ideas into a design model. This model is based, as you can see in the slide, in this empathy, define, iterate, prototype, and test. So provide students with a structured scientific approach to help get their ideas and eventually transform into tangible projects. And this new approach is now really easier, because today we have the ability to produce real objects in a cheap and a fast way, thanks to the 3D printing technology that is every day more affordable, cheap, easy to use. So the prototyping phase is a crucial phase in the design thinking process, and now it's easier to make it real and tangible. So if in the past we had the issue, and then the idea, and then the solution, here you can see that the path is a little bit more complex. And then we can here see some strategies, no, not a lot of strategies, just some of the strategies that I use personally in my teaching experience. And the first one is the pair programming, and I use it quite often. You can see here two people working together. This technique is coming from the industrial environment. We have two students, that one is acting as a driver and the other one is acting as a navigator. So the aim is to really play roles and learn in a horizontal way. So they learn one with the other, and they also see the mistakes that the other one is making. The important thing is absolutely that the roles are constantly switched. And I often use this solution because it's easier to manage the students. If you have someone that is maybe slower than the other one, with this technique, normally you solve this kind of small problem that you can find in a classroom. Another technique that is interesting, in my opinion, is the media competition, where you try to avoid the issue that you have sometimes when you try to teach like math or science or computer science. So there are some people that are kind of allergic to these matters. So this technique is nice because can move the attention to another field like art, architecture, music, or graphic, and the computer science is saying to a result that is interesting for the student. So it's easier for them to go through the bitter part of logical and mathematical matters. So you could use, for instance, mathematics to teach art with pixels and matrix, So in my experience of architect, this is an approach that really works well. Then another common technique is the one that is called peer instruction, where the students are interacting among them with discussions coming from a set of questions that they individually approach at first, and then they make groups, and then they go with teachers. So you see that the teacher here is along with the students making a small group, and so they just try together to solve problems and this kind of things. And even a few minutes of small group problem solving tends to really turbocharge the class discussion and get everyone involved. A good and simple way to put students into the spirit of interacting is to remove the teaching post, the teaching desk, and to combine all the desks in a kind of common table. This reduce the vertical distance from the teacher and the students and make it more horizontal, as I said before. And then just a few words. You can see these. You can teach sport unless you have a gym. That is quite easy to understand. And I was facing this problem of infrastructures in Italy. We made a project that was called Fab Lab at School in order to give better infrastructures to the high schools in Italy. This is just a small note to tell you that, yes, you have to find new strategies, new educational paths, but also you have to use the proper tools. And so you have to renovate a little bit even the environment where you are working. This is a place in Italy where the machines are great, but as you can see in the image, a little bit rusty and old. So coming to the Maker Faire, I was curating the educational part of the Maker Faire from the first of the edition of the Call for School. That was the second edition of the Maker Faire. And a lot of people always there, a lot of students. And I would like to go maybe on a deeper detail of some of the projects. Here you can see this spread of the schools in Italy, and now we are hopefully upgrading to Europe, so we will have more schools coming from a broader territory. And I just go quite fast through some projects. This one is a funny project that is called DomoPet. It's an automated kennel for pets. The microcontroller distributes food and water to the pet, to the animal at a given hour, and through a scale it sends to our mobile phone data. And so you can see the state of the cells. If you remember, I don't know if you remember this movie that it was called Back to the Future. And the very beginning of this movie was Doc, the doctor that was not at home, and so the dog was eating his food from a can that was automatically opened by a robot. And this is the realization of this idea. This one is school in Castelfranco. It's called Galileo Galilei. These are rescue drones. They did a great project. They made possible to deliver drugs into the territory in collaboration with local pharmacy. So a kind of drone pharmacist. Additional application was aimed to deliver newspapers and people with limited mobility. That was the drone news agent project. I go to the next one. This one was really funny, and the people there in the Maker Faire was queuing to hear this robot playing guitar. That was came from an idea back in 2013 of a team of students that decided to create a completely robotized musical band. And the initial project was completed only in part because it's quite difficult to do it. You can find on YouTube a lot of projects like this one, but this one is really working great. So the more difficult part was exactly the guitar. So they made the piano robot and drum robot, they produced it, and for the 2015 Maker Faire, the band was completed with the project of this guitar robot. It was activated by some servo motors through Arduino and all this kind of stuff. This other project is called From the Attic to Lab. They took old toys that we have in our attic sometimes, and they made a technological restyling. So out of the toy car tracks, equipped with telemetry system and connected to a PC, so you can control them in real time, and all electric cars are driven by DCs, remote controls, and tablets or smartphone. And in a similar way, a very popular game that we had, maybe is also all around the world, is called The Cheerful Surgeon. Is enriched by a graphical interface to monitor the operation performed by this funny doctor. This one is maybe I missed one, sorry. Yes, okay. This one is made in the Istituto Rossi of Vicenza. They make great robots and also a fully functional Segway that, as you know, is really complicated as a project, because you have to keep in mind a lot of engineering problems as long as mathematical problem, and they did the whole thing together, making this brilliant solution with the students, starting really from scratch from an aluminum chassis and a couple of scooter wheels. So you have accelerometer and gyroscope and triaxial, and all is always made by an Arduino Mega. This other project that you maybe glanced before is called Baby Goldrake. It's a beautiful project coming from the Istituto Marconi of Padova, because the aim is to bring pediatric robotics in hospital. There's no similar use of this kind of project with children in hospital. They will use, before a painful treatment, to mentally prepare the young patients, the kids, during the awakening after surgery. So the first steps to learn robotic programs were made for the International Now Challenge in 2015 that they won in May. And this other one is called My Friend Cart. It's a prototype of a real automated supermarket trolley able to follow the movement of the person that is shopping. So it's aimed to help elderly people or persons with disabilities while they are shopping at the supermarket. Let's see the other one. This is called Smart Class. It's a self-sufficient class in terms of energy that improves learning from students who are native in the use of technology. As you see, it's a small image, but where you see that the desk is more placed in a round form to make, as we said before, the class more horizontal. And the Smart Class is also eliminating any kind of paper document. This one is called Coda. It's a wheeled inspection robot. It's a rover that was created to work in dangerous places where you can see like precarious buildings where you have earthquakes, or places where there are gases or toxins or dangerous substances. This one also is a really beautiful project, because it's made from a team of students that they make robotics shows where Many robots dance and they are interacting between each other. They're really, really funny. And is intended to ensure a friendly presence in hospital. And after the first experience that they made in Milano, Mi Guarda, more hospital companies are asking for their shows, their funny shows made by the students, the robots. Sorry. So coming to the conclusions, I really, this is a kind of call for action, because I really think that the participation to Maker Faire is the ideal starting point for a project-based learning experience, both for the students and for the teachers. It's the perfect opportunity to have a good, meaningful problem to solve. You know, we have to go to the Maker Faire, so we have something to do. That's in a real-world context. The student can make decisions about project, including how they will work and how they will create it. They can give, receive, and use feedbacks to improve their process and products, because as you saw before, there were like 100,000 people going there, and you have a lot of feedback, really. And the students, they can have their project work public by displaying and presenting to people outside of the box, as we say, so outside of the classroom. So really concluding, I don't know if the tools that you saw in this really fast overview are better than the one that we had before, but surely, as Einstein said, something like, if we have new problems, we have to face it with new tools. And our society is really, really complex, as you all know. And I guess that we really have to make the effort to change the way that we are working with our students, because the world is really changing fast and we have to react fast. So thank you for the time spent with you. And for me, that's the conclusion.
Thank you very much, Fabio. This was brilliant, really inspiring. I think many of the teachers have been very amazed by the different projects created by the students. I think what you said is very, very important also. So how this project-based learning and how all these making really based activities are inspiring and engaging students in subjects that maybe they're not usually so active in. I think we have had a few questions already, and we will have more, so I will try to answer a few of them, and please, if you have additional ones, keep writing them on the chat. The first question that was asked even before was whether other countries can apply and not only the European Union ones, members. Ursula just confirmed that they will most likely open up the call for schools to all the Erasmus Plus partner countries, which means that also quite a few of you will be able to take part to the competition. So you are actually witnessing a live decision-making process, also informed by your own questions. So I think this is very positive and will give also a message of openness and inclusivity and inclusion to this call for schools. So you're all very welcome to definitely try and join and involve the students in this call. I think you've seen also what was extremely interesting, that many of these projects has a social relevance. So they were really designed for helping people with limited capabilities. So it's definitely very, very worth it to get engaged in these actions, because not only they develop technical and technological competencies of students, but they really spark their creativity, and they can also get them in the mindset of trying to solve problems, trying to solve issues they encounter or their peers encounter, and through technology, through creating and inventing something completely new. Ursula also put on the chat some more elements, so the link to the Maker Faire room, where you'll find very easily all the information you would look like for you would like to see on the call for school. It's very easy and very intuitive how to participate. So please don't be shy and try to connect in there. If anyone else has an additional question, I would have one on my own. I saw there was a hand raised by one of the participants, but now I cannot see it anymore. So my question for Fabio is actually about the fact that quite a lot of these wonderful pictures of projects presented at the Maker Faire were featuring male students, so boys. Is there a way to engage more girls, more female students into this kind of projects? By your experience, do you think some specific techniques or some specific topics could attract and get more girls interested to this project?
Yes, I'll switch to my other activity as a university teacher, and let me switch also on the camera. Maybe you can see me. Well, we started 5 years ago with the postgraduate master course that is mostly dedicated to 3D modeling and 3D printing. So the first year there were like maybe on 25 students, 20 boys and 5 girls. Then we changed a little bit, and now today we have 50 students, and the 66% is female, and only the 33% is male. And for me, this is a great result because this problem is really a fake problem. It's not true. I used to buy a robot that you can program, and I gave it to my daughter. She was really young at that point, and she was amazed with the programming part. But this was really a boy toy. It was a robot. She didn't want a robot, but she did want to program. And then now I'm working with another program that is about coding at the primary schools, secondary schools, and the best results are actually achieved by the girls. So I really, really think that is a fake problem. But the reason why you only see boys there is because we have mostly technical schools, technical institutes. I went in a technical schools where over 3,000 students, there were only 2 girls, and 1 went away, so the other one was left alone. So it's nowadays a fact, but in my opinion, it's really not. It's really a fake problem. The girls are really great in STEM disciplines, and they should work more on it.
This is great to hear. It's very in line with what we're experiencing as well. So maybe there's a few less girls engaged in this kind of programs, but definitely when they manage to get interested into it, they are extremely creative. They're extremely effective in producing wonderful projects. We have another question, which is about younger students. Is there any similar events, shows when they can take part? I think there's also a session into the Maker Faire where actually there's educational programs and projects that are showcased. So maybe that's one. That's part of the answers. But what's maybe your experience, Fabio, or shall we forward this question to Ursula?
I would prefer to address all the
Maker Faire relations.
Exactly. In my opinion, you can start at 4 years old and you are ready to code, but rules are rules. So
that's perfect. Okay, so I think maybe we can ask this question to Ursula. So the question was about younger students, how they can take part into the or how they can benefit from the Maker Faire and related programs. And then I've seen that you were typing also suggestions and ideas that you're coming up with right now. So please, let's share with us.
Very simple for the youngest. They can benefit by coming, because there are plenty of activities studied for them from students of 4 years old to 13. There will be plenty of activities to do. They will learn in one day to code. They will learn how to make their own robot. They will learn how to use maybe just a recipe of yogurt to make a robot moving, and be acquainted with the idea that they can be the builders of their own games and not just buy them. So they can be engaged by the idea of being creators. I mean, this is a really powerful and enabling idea for the youngsters. They will feel the power of creating things. They will also build their own video games, because there are video game sessions, and all of these kinds of educational activities will be run in a pavilion that exceeds 5,000 square meters.
This is very good. Thanks for pointing this out.
And by organizing, of course, coming from abroad, by organizing a trip, so substantially, the experience is within the fair for them. Or maybe in some countries you can look for code emotion kids or other coding activities for kids, for example. And maybe we are going to run some streaming session and these streaming sessions will be uploaded afterwards.
Good, this is perfect. Actually, we put 2 more links on the chat. One is allyouneediscode.eu, which is the website we are managing for promoting resources for primary and secondary schools to teach and learn how to code. So there you can also have quite some interesting ideas and resources. There's also some lesson plans made by teachers that took part to our program, so that's definitely something you can look at. codeemotionskids.com
sorry, no .eit.com
is also a good platform you can take a look at if you're teaching to younger kids. So there's several initiatives going on in this domain, so definitely watch out for them. For what concerns specifically the call for schools to the Maker Faire, make sure that you really engage also other for instance, teachers, other educators from your school, because maybe I've seen on the chat some of you are teaching English or literature or foreign languages, but definitely maybe you can engage some other teachers from your school and create maybe also jointly a project with them to be submitted to this call. What you can also do then is to take a look at the map of events that will be organized around the European Maker Week. All the information are on the Rome Maker Faire website, so also be aware that that's also a possibility for you to get engaged or even organize some awareness raising activities, even if you are not that advanced from a technical perspective, but if you have just some creative ideas. And we, from our side, from European SchoolNet, the eSkills for Job campaign and the coding initiative and the All You Need Is Code initiative will try to be with you as much as possible to bring this experience to any schools in Europe, really, to make sure every student can really benefit from this great movement.
Absolutely, and of course, if there are maybe one ICT school and one girls' school, just for girls, I mean, they can work together, maybe by being inspired from a problem that they cannot solve, and it's not that important that they become from the same school. It's important having the project realized. I don't know if I explain myself in a comprehensible way. So, I mean, maybe in Turkey there will be an ICT school, a technical school, and they maybe can try to engage with a female school, which is more, I don't know, whatever it may learn there, and merge their needs and try to create something totally new.
Yes, that would be perfectly also in line with the philosophy behind the Maker movement. So really
yes,
how complementary competencies and skills can join together to create a beautiful thing that might be the project really as the output of this collaboration. I think we went. Yes, okay. Fabio, please.
No, I'm sorry. I just wanted to tell you that I only have 1 more minute, and I have to go because here they are closing, and I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yes. Thank you very much.
I'm really running out of time, and thank you for hosting me and for all the attendees to listen to.
Thank you very much, Fabio, for your wonderful presentation and for your flexibility. And please feel free to leave. Now we will close in really a few minutes since there's no more questions. I would like to thank you, Fabio, and thank you, Ursula, for your great contribution tonight. As a communication for all the attendees, as you probably know already, this session was recorded, so will be shared and disseminated through the internet and on the eTwinning portal. So you'll have a chance to share this with your colleagues too, and please do so as much as you can. I wish you a wonderful weekend, of course, since it's Friday night already. And hopefully we will be also able to repeat this session, maybe on eTwinning Live and with more of your colleagues participating. And we'll be sure to share this information in case we do.
Okay, thank you. And I just sent a YouTube video with Valeria Cagnina, which is hello?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Okay, and I sent a YouTube link with Valeria Cagnina. She's a girl coming from the north of Italy. She's a maker, she's an inventor, and she's whatever you think a girl in STEM should be. Please have a look at the video. She's very powerful girl.
Thank you, Ursula. We will surely do. In fact, we could speak about this topic all night because it's, as you see, extremely engaging and interesting. And thank you for the video. We'll make sure also to make it available on our communication channel so that that will be disseminated. Thank you very much,
Tommaso. Okay.
Thank you, and thank
you and thank you to all the attendees. Even if I didn't explain myself very much, you have all the tools you need to go more deeply into the matters. But I will definitely be very happy to answer to all your questions anytime you want and you need it.
Great. Thank you again for your availability. Have a wonderful evening. You all.
And you too.
Bye-bye.